Hey, I'm Tyler, co-founder and CEO here at Saltbox, and I'm really excited to welcome you back to our ongoing series of Saltbox Founder Stories. These are candid discussions with our members about their journeys in starting, operating, and scaling modern commerce companies. As you'll see, their businesses vary quite widely in size and industry, and yet they all have one thing in common. Saltbox was built for them. In just a moment, we'll hear from Brea Fullerton, founder and CEO of Shinery. Brea will share her journey from cutting deals with her parents as a 3-year-old to launching her jewelry cleaning business on her wedding day, and ultimately shipping her first order from Saltbox. I hope you'll enjoy. Brea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Brea Fullerton, founder and CEO of Shinery, a brand new company.
Brand new.
Really excited to talk about this. Let me just say before we get started, we actually are sitting in a warehouse, so we hear some warehouse sounds as we go here. Don't let them distract you, and I apologize for that. But you get it. So
I get it. I get it.
So tell me a bit about Shinery.
Yeah. So Shinery is a modern jewelry care company. We wanted to take the chore out of maintaining and caring for your jewelry and actually make it easy and part of your beauty routine. So our products fit into everyday things you're doing, and we formulate specifically so that it can partner with an activity that you're already doing, such as washing your hands or using a single-use towelette. So you can care for your jewelry, get rid of the dirt, grime, all of that stuff, and sparkle and shine.
Yeah, sounds pretty compelling. I've actually already bought one.
Yes, and thank you for the support.
I've been
men's
wearing this
watches,
ring for
wedding rings.
quite a while. I don't know that I will polish it, but my wife is very, very excited to clean hers up.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I got a lot of questions for you, but I want to just kind of step back a bit first here and ask about your childhood and what some of those early entrepreneurial inspirations were for you.
Yeah, so there's a couple that stick out in my mind. Very early childhood. My parents always told me I was going to be a lawyer because they would say, let's go to bed or let's do this. And I'd say, let's make a deal.
You'd litigate it.
I would say, let's make a deal. My dad's like, you're 3, making a deal with me. So I think early on, I kind of had that spark of, okay, again, let's make a deal was my early childhood. And then I participated in a lot of programs in school that really stretched your mind. So I was a Montessori kid.
Okay.
And
do you believe in Montessori?
I do. I do. I think back to things they had us do, and it's not your traditional way of learning, but
I'm all for it. I didn't. We have mixed feelings in our family, but I feel up to me, I would be a Montessori.
You kind of just self-play, and you can go to the abacus or you can polish silver, which might have been foreshadowing if I was polishing silver when I was 3.
Indeed.
But yeah, so Montessori, and then also Destination Imagination was huge, which I never really think about this until...
What is Destination Imagination?
So Destination Imagination is a program where you're given all of these prompts. It could be a chair and a tennis ball, and they say to you, okay, you have to get the tennis ball to the chair in 30 minutes, and you have straws and sticks. And you're like, okay. And it really just developed from a very early age, more so that problem-solving muscle that I think we all have. It's just some people exercise it more than others. So that was really the foundation. I would say Montessori and then Destination Imagination. And then ever since I've been selling soap to my parents, which again is foreshadowing.
Wait, you've been selling soap to your parents?
My sister and I would make soap in our kitchen, and then we'd say to our parents they had to buy it for $2 or whatever. Meanwhile, they supplied our material, they fronted the whole thing.
It's a good operation. It's a good business.
I wish when you
add in that business element, they can't really say no. What parent wants to kill their parents?
My sister and I's parents were completely fostering of every imagination we had. Again, early years, I would put. What are they, like little decoration on my leggings, and told my mom I was going to be a fashion designer. And then I would go outside and I'd be fixing the basketball hoop, and I'd be inventing something with the basketball hoop. And my mom was like, you're a crazy kid. Like, why didn't I just get a normal child? But I feel like I've always been creating something.
Yeah, awesome. Now, you grew up in Charlottesville, a city that I'm very fond of.
Yes,
because
Wahoo
of
Wah.
our EVA connection.
Yeah.
And you told me in a prior discussion that you had this kind of unique balance of a creative inspiration, but also a business inspiration in your home growing up. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so we grew up in Charlottesville, which is an idyllic college town.
Truly, yeah.
So it was very interesting to have this kind of storybook childhood, but then you mix it with, my dad worked in entertainment, so he was a concert promoter. So I would be at school and, algebra class, and next thing I know, people are talking about the Rolling Stones coming to Charlottesville, and that was my dad.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that, actually.
Yes, yeah, that was huge. The Stones, U2, Gaga, Justin Timberlake. So it was this kind of parody between a very normal childhood and then also behind the scenes, we had a dad that would take conference calls at 3:00 in the morning with Japan about the Rolling Stones or something like that. So I was exposed. I think that was nice though, because it allowed us to kind of see beyond just Charlottesville and to dream really big. And that constant bit of inspiration in our household was not just a doctor or a lawyer, which is great, but
both my parents are lawyers, so I get the pressure.
Yes,
I get the pressure. Yeah.
There you go. So for me, I didn't get the pressure to be a concert promoter. Luckily, I loved it, but seeing that constant bit of creativity in our house was, I think, a very unique part of our childhood.
Yeah, great. Let's talk about Shinery. So I guess before I do that, I want to ask you: is this the first company that you started? In a true sense?
Yes, in a true sense.
Okay.
In a true sense.
Okay.
So
Good.
This is from start to finish.
Yeah.
Fruition to conception. This is our first company.
Yeah, great. So tell me that. Tell me the early inspirations for the product, the problem you saw, and how you ended up where you are now.
Yes, so I owe it technically all to my husband because he proposed, which took 6 years. But
Don't give him too much.
Yeah, no, that was, he planted the seed just by proposing. But yeah, so in July of 2018, we got engaged. And when we got engaged, I was like, oh my gosh, I have this new piece of jewelry that I need to take care of. I don't wear a ton of nice fine jewelry. I'm more of fashion jewelry or things that more so fit my outfit than every single day wearing the same piece of jewelry. So I had this new hardware on my hands that I had to take care of, and I spent all night Googling how to take care of my ring and using the hand soaps at the hotel because we were traveling at the time. And nothing ever really seemed to work the way that I remember getting proposed to. And then the weirdest part for all of this was, so you have this massive investment, both from a financial piece and then also a emotional piece and a commitment. It's your life commitment to one another. And it seemed very weird that the most common thing was at-home concoctions. So you buy a car.
That is the case. I mean, it is. You look at kind of the competitive landscape.
Our competitive landscape is at-home concoctions.
Okay.
And it is vinegar, bleach, vodka, ketchup.
Things sound harmful
crazy,
and ridiculous.
Crazy stuff. Yes.
Ketchup,
yes.
is that real?
Ketchup is a real thing. Yes, they tell you to use ketchup. So for me, I felt very odd because I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust that I could have this, new piece of jewelry and make the right bleach concoction or make the right ketchup concoction. So I then started buying all of the jewelry cleaner on the market because I figured if it came from a manufacturer, it had been tested and it worked. And when I bought all of the jewelry cleaner, what ended up happening was I always had to take off my jewelry and soak it. And I would get busy. I would go to the grocery store, I would go to work, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have my jewelry on. And then you go into full-on panic mode because you're like, my jewelry is gone. So those were really our two competitive sets were jewelry cleaner that you drop your jewelry in, and then ketchup, vodka, vinegar, at-home concoctions. So going through all of those frustrations was the original piece of Shinery, but I never sat and said, I'm going to create a jewelry company.
Got it. And so as you were experiencing this disappointment and looking for the right products to clean your own jewelry, were you at that same time talking to others and kind of building
there's
a point of view
Reddit forums, there's the Knot, Brides magazine, there's all of these amazing articles, and then you read the comments and people do some crazy stuff to their jewelry. Crazy.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like nothing existed. And at that point in time, I wasn't gung-ho, like, I'm gonna be the one to do it. But that happened on our wedding day, which seems very crazy, but I literally...
A little bit of a distraction.
Yeah. But I created the company on our wedding day, which I think is a very interesting part of our story. So I'll tell you about that. I was sitting in the hair and makeup chair, and our photographer came in and said, hey, I need your ring for photos. I looked down and I was like, oh, heck no. Like, this thing is disgusting. And she was, oh.
I'm curious, how long had you been engaged?
Okay, 9 months.
Okay.
So right. 9 months of frustration.
Time to build a little layer of.
It was gross.
Okay.
Yes. But actually, not even, because I had gotten it cleaned from the jeweler on a Tuesday, and we got married on a Saturday.
Oh.
So even in that 5 days, if you rest your hand on your ring, if suntan lotion, body lotion, everything just kind of mucks up your ring. So anyway, so I was sitting in the chair, she asks for the ring, and full on panic in the bridal suite. I mean, my mom has got a toothbrush and a toothpaste out. She's going to town on my ring. Nothing's working. I'm like, you guys are just making this work worse. Like, please give her the ring. A, you're gonna ruin my ring. B, it's just, at this point, let's call it a loss. So I'm sitting in the chair, and again, a distraction from my wedding day. And I said, this can't ever happen to another bride. Like, that was the true moment where I said, I'm gonna take this on, and I'm going to clean jewelry.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome. One of the things I find interesting about how that story unfolds for you is that you weren't. A lot of people are very intentional in their desire to start a company and are looking for the right opportunity and moment. And in your case, you really kind of pulled into it.
Yes.
But then, as that happened, did you ever take any time to kind of question whether or not you actually wanted to be an entrepreneur, or were you just like, this problem has to be solved?
It was kind of, like I said, I feel like I've been an entrepreneur since I was born. Whether it's the let's make a deal phase, or the selling products to my parents and friends, or bedazzling my own leggings and trying to sell them. I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur, but it really took that one moment where I have ideas all of the time, but it was, what is this one idea that actually has legs, is a white space, and truly solves a problem for myself, because I feel like I have to be invested in it, and then also for other people. And this was also the very first time that I felt like this had legs, where we're making people feel good. Jewelry is such an extension of yourself, just like fashion or beauty, that this was really something I could get behind from more a holistic standpoint than just selling a product.
And so what did you do next?
Oh gosh. So the first thing we did was I kind of became a mad chemist. I have no chemistry background, which is later why we hired chemists and formulators so that they could do it properly. But I literally bought every raw material that they say is in hand soap or Dawn or all of these things. And I tried to deconstruct the ingredients and then reconstruct it. So our kitchen kind of looked like a science lab, and beakers and all of this. And again, not my strong suit. So finally one day my husband came home and he was like, okay, you've educated yourself, you're learning about all the ingredients, but do you want to maybe hire a chemist that does this for their job? So then we set out on finding a manufacturer and really a partner that believed in our vision, because this is such a new concept. So every time we went to a hand soap company, they told us no, and this is why. And then every time we went to a personal care company, they told us no, and this is why. And they kept shoving us to these jewelry cleaning companies. And I said, no, you're not getting it right. We want this to clean jewelry, but we want it to have all of these added benefits. So that process took a year.
Oh, wow. Now, help me understand this a little more clearly. So it's the jewelry, the personal care product companies or manufacturers are wrong. Why well, rather, they're not wrong. They thought they were wrong. Just help me understand the complexity of the product and what you were looking for versus what they thought you needed.
So let's start with hand soap, for example. So for hand soap, there's different properties that they feel passionate to literally clean your hands. And then there's certain ingredients like glycerin, for example, that's a byproduct of the saponification process. So during the soap making process, glycerin is created. But then there's a lot of companies that actually make soap to harvest that glycerin, and that's your moisture magnet. That is the creme de la creme of ingredients. And the glycerin is then what's used in hand lotion and other products so they can expand their line. So they're selling you hand soap that dries out your hands because they've stripped the glycerin from it. Then they're selling you hand lotion. So for me, when I said to the hand soap, I want to keep glycerin, I want to do all of these things that you keep taking out, it was very interesting for them because they were like, oh, if that's the case, your product cost is going to be high and this or that. And for me, I was like, I want to do what's best for the customer and for the jewelry. So that was kind of the uphill battle we faced with hand soap.
And so where'd you ultimately find the right partner?
Our partner is in Vermont.
Okay.
They are a soap and personal care manufacturer, and they took a chance on us, and I pitched my heart out. I was like, go talk to your CEO. He has a wife. This is a problem. I guarantee you. And
did it work? Did it?
Yes, yes. They were like, okay, we're a soap company, but we're making jewelry cleaner, not something we normally do. But
any advice you'd give to someone else in your seat looking for
tenacity,
a contract manufacturer? Tenacity.
It is like finding a needle in a haystack. But when you find it, it's like dating almost. You go on a ton of bad dates and then you meet your partner and you're like, wow, this is what life is supposed to be like. But yeah, you kiss a lot of frogs.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a huge kind of cover over the contract manufacturing process, and people don't want to tell you who their contract manufacturer is. And it's a lot of peeling back the curtain and saying, okay, this one product from this company is manufactured here. This one product, and even finding that information is like being
very challenging.
An investigator. I look at the back of the bottle and I look at like date code. I was like an investigator. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. If I could change one thing about kind of the product space, it would be demystifying that process for everybody, because it's tough.
Yeah, I hear you. I've had a little bit of experience with it, and totally agree. And it is just this very kind of secretive,
so
and
secret,
opaque industry.
and no one wants you to know anything.
Yeah. So,
which again, it was tough for me.
Yeah. So fast forward to now. You just launched.
Just launched.
Tell us about that. Where are you, and what's happening? Around the company today.
Yeah. So I like to say it's a soft launch because for us, we've spent all of this time perfecting our product, perfecting our packaging, and making sure that the product itself was perfect. And now we have the product. And I wasn't someone that felt comfortable personally doing a Kickstarter or selling something that didn't exist yet. So for me, we really spent the front end developing the product. And now we have the product. So we just launched to our friends and family, and I call it a friends and family launch because they're the only ones that know we exist. But yeah, that was super successful. We've had a lot of friends and family share, and it's kind of, this is our network, this is their network, and this is their network of their network. So we've tried to capitalize on that. And then now that we physically have the product in hand, I feel very comfortable reaching out to, we're gonna have hopefully a wholesale division and do direct to consumer out of Saltbox.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
and that's a good segue. I'm curious to know how you found Saltbox and what role it plays in your business today.
Yeah, so originally we were bootstrapped. So we are 100% self-financed. We've drained our personal savings. We've maxed out our credit cards.
It'll fill back up soon enough.
Hopefully that is the hope. But yeah, so we wanted to be scrappy, and originally we were looking at storage units, and then it was all of these questions of, okay, how do we get deliveries? How do we get freight to a storage unit? Is it temperature controlled? Do we have unlimited access 24/7?
Is it legal?
I don't actually even know that.
Not really.
But yeah, all of these questions that I felt I didn't know. How do we set up Wi-Fi? Is there power? All of this stuff. So we were about to like retrofit or probably illegally figure out how to do a storage unit. And a Saltbox popped up, and I'm not entirely sure how. I was just browsing the internet like everyone else does. And I clicked on it, and I was like, wait a minute. So for all-inclusive one payment a month, I don't have to worry about a Wi-Fi account, a security code, power, water. I mean, all of this stuff that you really don't think about until you're thinking about it. And I was like, done. This is...
And you get some new friends.
Yes.
On top of that,
yeah, and also the energy here is so awesome. So we've really enjoyed just being here. I mean, entrepreneurship is kind of, what's the right word? Lonely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in particular, one of the things that really was the final and significant impetus for pushing me to even start this company was that I realized that when you get pushed to the fringes of the real estate ecosystem, as you would be in a self-storage unit, you implicitly get pushed to the fringes of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. You're not going to have any neighbors in your self-storage unit, and there's a cost to that. And I think there's a benefit to being a part of a resourceful community, whether here or elsewhere, where you can see, hey, this is what success looks like, and this is what it feels like, and you can get that energy,
Every day when I come to Saltbox, I'm so inspired. I mean, I just walk down the halls and I see hundreds of boxes being shipped out, and it's awesome because those are people's passions as well, just the same as mine. And it's really encouraging and inspiring to see, okay, they had an idea, they were me. They had an idea, they're here, they took their idea, and now they're shipping 100, 200 units a day. That's every small business owner's dream.
Absolutely.
So being able to surround ourselves with that is really, really inspiring.
What's your dream?
What is our dream? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the weeds too much to see the forest right now.
Well, I mean, so you have shipped or are shipping your first order?
We ship our first order on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
We have to get a picture of that.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
And make sure we kind of document that journey.
Yeah, it's
so exciting.
It's exciting because we've done all of this work, and once the orders go out, it's like your baby is born.
Yeah.
I mean, the world has seen it. Now, we're so thankful that people trusted us and, have purchased. But first orders go out Tuesday. So,
awesome.
Very
And so
exciting.
how will you, going forward, how will you operate the company? I mean, you've got a lot to do. You've got marketing and growth. And
my blood pressure is rising right now as you say
you're
all
going to have
this.
a bunch of orders to ship out really soon here. I mean, how are you going to handle all this? And again, I would ask you, what advice would you give to someone who may be watching who aspires to do what you've done to this point?
Yeah, I think we're very lucky because we're here at Saltbox. So you guys have a lot of the systems in place that flex with a company like us. So we're very nascent. Again, we're shipping our first orders in 5 days. But I walk around and I see the large warehouses, and again, I see people doing 200 orders a day. So I know that we can get from where we are now to there. I'm sure there's a lot of work in between, which is okay.
Yeah, we'll help you get there.
I think for us, it's a focus on operations first and foremost, so that the customer always gets what they ordered. And then in the back end, it's really what's the most seamless way to go from order to receiving.
Yeah.
And
well, I know I
trying to
think you're
figure
going to
that
do
out.
very well. It seems to me that once you get on the knot and all these things, it's gonna blow up.
would be
I
awesome.
don't see how people aren't gonna flock to buy this product.
And I think ultimately too, for any entrepreneur, and I believe in this so much, is it's product first. So we spent so much time developing a product that truly, truly worked. And so when we do ship out in 5 days, I have the utmost faith that someone might not like the packaging, someone might not like this or that, but from a product standpoint, the product works.
Yeah.
And I can stand behind that.
Yeah, awesome.
Go to sleep at night.
Great. Brea, thank you so much for doing this. This has been
Thank you.
huge fun, and I'm very proud of you, very excited for you.
Thanks. Thank you guys for
Yeah.
being a very early part of our journey.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Awesome. Thank you.